Our first guest on the Wise Guys tonight is right in the middle of all the excitement around BYU men's basketball, former assistant coach at Stanford and Nevada, one of the new faces on Kevin Young's staff here in Provo. Our pleasure to welcome Brandon Dunson to the Wise Guys. Coach, it's great to have you with us, and welcome to Provo.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
I know you've been busy, but let's just jump into our large list of questions. Do you think the big dance should be expanded? What's your opinion on that?
I'm a little bit more traditional, and I honestly like the 64-team deal, but honestly, I don't think it hurts. Just get more games in. I don't think it's going to change the weekends or anything like that. Just add 4 more games, I believe, is what it would look like. So I'm okay with it. I'm not strong one way or the other.
Yeah, we were just talking. Fran Fischilla kind of laid it out and said it doesn't even add an extra week or anything. They just just add to the play-in on Tuesday and Wednesday of that week, and then it moves forward from there. So just more teams with an opportunity, more Cinderellas. So
does it make it easier? I know coaches want to get to the big dance. That's every program's goal. And by and large, the coaches have been pretty like, yeah, this is a good idea, especially in the Big 12, according to the commissioner. That's the end game, right? Get to the big dance. So is this why the coaches are saying, yes, make it more available to more teams?
For sure, probably so. I think you're going to see the same thing, though. You're going to have some teams on the bubble that people are like, how'd they get in? And then teams that are going to be, oh, they should have got in. So I don't think that's going to change much. But I do think it gives an opportunity for a few more teams to be in. It's like I said, it's not going to change anything. The NCAA tournament, I believe, always ends the week before the Masters starts. And obviously the Masters isn't changing their schedule. So it's going to be the same schedule. So it's just, again, it adds a couple games early on, gives a couple more teams an opportunity. So I think that's good.
Brandon, you have been part of one of the craziest summers for BYU basketball ever. The last 3 months have just been nuts. It's like basketball's been on the front page, not just the sports front page here, but the front page of every bit of news the last couple of months. Can you believe all that's gone down in the last couple of months here at BYU? And you've been a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty crazy. It feels like it was a year ago that we just started. But no, it's been great. And I think the best thing about this is we've been able to not only get really talented guys with a lot of upside and potential, but guys that fit. You wouldn't believe how many guys who had high ability that we're like, from a basketball standpoint, it's a no-brainer. But then from a cultural standpoint, things like that, it's like, and guys who wanted to be here, it just wasn't a great fit for it. So filtering through that was good. And we actually think of that as a positive for us. But it's been a lot of names and a lot of places over a lot of days and late nights and 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just on the phone or in the office talking with each other. But I think we've got a good mix of guys, both on the court and off the court. I think they're great BYU fits.
Brandon, what is the biggest surprise? Is there one thing that just stands out overall? The last time we talked was on Sports Nation, and you were still in California getting ready to move here. And that's all happened. But over these last few months, what's been the biggest surprise to you?
I'm not even going to say it's a surprise, but one of the best things, how the returners have been about integrating the new guys. I mean, they're just great people. Obviously, they wouldn't be here if they weren't, but I just think it's been really cool to see and how the team has been able to gel together pretty quickly on and off the court. So that doesn't happen everywhere. And again, I think we have guys who are aligned the same way, who think in similar ways and have the same type of values. But that's been something that's been really cool to see.
Yeah, hey, culture is a lot when it comes to success during basketball season. As you've watched this team now in summer workouts on the floor, what's the most impressive thing you've seen from this team this summer? Maybe you talk about culturally, this impressive ability to come together already, and you sense that. What about on the floor? Anything that you've been impressed with so far with this group on the floor?
Actually, today, I haven't even said this to any of our staff, I was super impressed by it. And you talk about a culture of work and being together. So today was the first time we had most of our guys here. We're still one or two guys trickling in, but we got done with our workout. They did a conditioning deal today. Then they did about 40 minutes of on-court work after that. I left, went upstairs to grab something, went back in the gym to grab something, and everyone was in there with the managers and grad assistants still working out, shooting together, like two to three big groups, not like a guy by themselves. And I've been a part of programs where that's happened, and it usually ends up pretty good. But I've also been around programs where that doesn't happen, and you fight for that. And to see that already in place, one, it's a testament to the work that the previous staffs and have done here, and the guys that we have, and also the guys that we brought in. So that's been pretty cool to see. Today it was literally going back in there. They were working just as hard as they were when we were there, and we're not watching. So that says they're in there for the right reasons.
BYU assistant basketball coach Brandon Dunson's on the Wise Guys tonight, presented by Brady Plus. We say hello to Adam in Alaska, and let's see, Michael in Washington, D.C. We've got Davis County in, all joining on our global live stream show. This is a cool show, Coach. It just goes everywhere to BYU fans all around the world. And
yeah, before we're done, we'll shout out. We typically have Colombia here, and we have the Philippines on. We have a couple listeners in Japan. What was the new place last week that
New Guinea?
Yeah,
Guyana.
Guyana last week for the first time. And so it's an international following that BYU has, which is really unique, I think, in college sport. Can you think of another program where you can do a show like this specific to BYU and BYU sports, and you have people all over the world tuned in, and all those people will be watching this basketball team that you're coaching in the winter? Have you been part of something like that before with that kind of fan base?
Honestly, not a global fan base. A national one, yes. Not a global fan base. It's pretty awesome, and I think it's a big reason why a lot of us decided to come here, and it's a big reason why a lot of the players decide to come here. The fan base, and then not just from a basketball standpoint, but when they're done, whether they play here 1 or 2 years and play pro, whether they go and play 4 to 5 years, the alumni network across the world, there's very few like it, and that's a big selling point for us as well. There's like, you're going to be taken care of after basketball. You're going to have a reputation within this school. You're going to be a part of the family that's not just in Utah, not just on the West Coast. It's global, and so it's pretty cool to see.
Coach, when you and you may have just answered it with this, with what you just shared, but what do you attribute all this recruiting success to? Is it Kevin Young? Is it the staff as a whole? Is it former players like Travis Hansen and Danny Ainge? And is it the Big 12? Is it the Cougar Nation? What do you think?
It's funny you asked that. We were talking about this today, and honestly, I think it's a perfect storm. You've got going to the Big 12. You've got the success that they had in the Big 12 last year. You've got, obviously, the former players are really big in supporting the program. You've got 18,000 strong in the Marriott Center, the alumni network. You've got what the university is about and what it stands for. I think that's such an underrated part of all of this, and people wanting to be around like-minded people, not having all the distractions that you have at a normal university. And I say normal, meaning this is an extraordinary one. Kevin Young, all the staff, we've had guys who've developed pros, we've had guys that have been in the pros and coached them. So I just think it's the perfect storm of a lot of things coming together. Obviously, the support from the collective and NIL space of things, that plays a part into it as well. But I would say that at this level, a lot of universities, or when it comes to the NIL, they're very similar. So you have to have something set you apart. And I think this university does that. The staff does that. Obviously, the program and the history and the conference does that as well. But I do think we have a very unique staff dynamic of not just the versatility of everyone being here, but we're ourselves, and we kind of present it as that. It's like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're about. If you're about that, great. This is a great fit. If you're not, it's no problem, but it's just probably not going to be the fit for you, regardless of your talent level or anything else. So I think our transparency is a big piece of that as well.
Brandon, you mentioned NIL, and Dave and I sat here with folks representing the collective as BYU was kind of launching this in all sports, and maybe they took a few months longer, a little longer than some others. But now they've come in recent months and said, hey, we're there now. We can compete with anybody. And not only are we giving dollars, but we've got this mentoring program in place. And we feel like we can compete on an even keel with anybody in the country with NIL at this point. Has that been your experience as you've been out recruiting these last several months?
Yeah, I think we're definitely competitive with everyone else in that space. It's the great thing for us is it's not something we lead with. Because if you're here for that, and that's the top reason you're going to be here, then it's not going to be a good fit, almost automatic. And there are people who have led with that that we've recruited, and as I said, it's turned out to not be a fit, and those people aren't here. But I do think we're in a place where, with our support from an NIL space, where we're competitive with a lot of the top programs in the country.
All right, I think a lot of fans are eager to hear your answers for these next few questions. Let's run down this roster. We'll give you the name, and you fire up some words. That doesn't have to be a lot, but just something to describe these characters, these young men on the squad.
Especially these newcomers. Everybody wants to know a little tiny, just a little quick scout on each of them.
So Jager Demon is in town, and we all know his story coming over from Real Madrid, the 18 and under squad. We all know what the projections are for his skill level. But let's throw Jager out there, Coach, and give us the lowdown on Jager. What do you think?
Jager is very mature. He's for an 18-year-old. He's as mature as they came. He left home at 15 to play in the junior club in Spain for Real Madrid. Got a ton of experience there on the junior level. Very, very skilled. Shoots the ball, handles the ball. Great IQ. His ability to make plays out of ball screens was something that really intrigued us. That's kind of where he's at. He's got a lot of different experiences playing internationally, and he's a worker. He's going to do everything it takes to become the best player that he can be.
Let me ask, before Blaine gets to the next name, a follow-up. This might be unfair, but you would know the answer. Is he all that you thought he would be? Is he the kind of guy that has been hyped to be this kind of guy?
For sure. I think with freshmen, no matter where they're coming from, there's always an adjustment. Yeah. And I also think from the international game, there's always an adjustment. And that's not good or bad. It's style of play, pace of play, those type of things. And so I think from a potential standpoint, he's going to be really good. To answer your question straight up, he's everything I thought he would be and that we thought he would be, and the reasons we wanted him here on and off the court. But he's just working through things now, and he'll have the transition like most freshmen do, like most international players do. But I think he's going to be really special.
Well, next one on our list is one that Jager kind of came from off the radar for everybody. Kanon Catchings was on the radar, but I think people were going, yeah, but he's not going to come here. BYU's talking to him and he's giving him, but that's like BYU can't get this guy. We got this guy. So tell us about Kanon Catchings and what he brings to this.
I will tell you more than probably anyone on our roster. Kanon Catchings came here because of the culture.
I love that.
He came here because he wanted to be around guys who are going to help him continue to grow as a person, people who will help him develop his game, and he wants to play in the NBA. So I think he thought this was a place he could grow. He's more of a quiet young man, but we're going to get him out of his shell here pretty soon. And but he's been great. Today he actually got here yesterday. Today was his first workout, and he was really good in it. But he is a 6'10" versatile guy who can shoot, drive, and create offense for himself. We thought that was something that we were going to need. He can play anywhere from the 2 to the 4. In a small lineup, he might even be able to play the 5. I don't think with us, we don't have traditional positions. It's not going to be point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. We're going to have guys that can attack closeouts, can shoot, and can make the right decisions. That's what we're going to have, and we're going to have a guy inside that can screen and make some things happen. So I think he checks a lot of boxes for us. I think his upside defensively is tremendous with his length and athleticism. But I think what people will see with him is when he's the nicest kid off the court, like as nice as anyone. And on the court, he is a competitor, and he's going to go after you. And that was something that we really, really valued in him. But another guy, just like Jager, he just wants to be better, wants to get better, and wants to develop his game. And he knew that this was an environment that would allow him to do that and not have the distractions of a normal university.
All right, let's go from a couple of freshmen, jump all the way up to Mowat Mag, who's got a year left coming from Rutgers. What does he bring you?
What Mag, he is bringing experience. He's a guy, I can't wait for people to hear his story, but came from family, fled to Australia when he was young, came over here by himself at the age of 14 or 15, played 2 years at a prep school in Florida, then played 2 years at a prep school in California, did all of it on his own, had to meet new friends, had to do those type of things, then goes all the way to New Jersey to go to Rutgers, plays 4 years there, had a great junior year where he could have easily transferred out and gotten the NIL and done all that stuff, but decided to stay and play. And now that he's graduated, came here, someone I've known for a long time, just a great human, but on the court, big time defender, versatile, a lot like Kanon in his versatility. He's a guy that he has a great feel for playing the game. Elite cutter, can get to the rim, good straight line driver, underrated passer. And while his shooting percentages were low, I think he is more than capable of being a 35% 3-point shooter. We're focusing a lot with him on shot selection and where to get him within our offense. If you look at his numbers over the past few years, he was between 32 and 35% as a catch and shoot spot up guy. And so we're really focusing on getting him those reps and showing him this is where you're going to get it within the offense. So I think you'll see a lot of improvements there with him. But the reality is he's an elite level defender that can guard the 1 through 5. And he can switch out on ball screens. He can do a lot of stuff. So he gives us a lot of different lineups that we can play with.
We're 3 in, Coach, and I just sit here and I'm going, man, we have some long athletic dudes that can shoot it. I'm like, we're 3 in, and I'm already saying that. I'm getting kind of excited already. So right. let's move to Elijah Crawford, another freshman, and his game.
Yep. So Elijah, first off the court, he is Mr. Personality. He is he's got an inviting personality. He's smiling. He's a guy who walks in the office every single day, no matter what's going on, and says hello to everyone. And I think on the court, he is the number one thing I'll say about him is he's tough. He's gritty. He grinds it out, and he's very confident. He was a 49% 3-point shooter in high school, but I would even say that's not the best thing he does. He plays with great pace, changes directions, and he's a guy that can find guys, and he can also score. Has the ability to be a really good defender. There's times where he could knock a guy up. Now he's got to get more consistent on that end of the floor, but I think he's got the ability to do that. So with him and Dallin, Trey, some of our other guys, they give us a lot of different pieces, Jager included, that we can play at that point guard position and bring different skill sets and different dynamics.
Big 12's big and physical. We saw that last year with Fousseyni Traore trying to battle some guys down low, and so you go out, you get a center, you get Fousseyni's friend and peer from Mali and Keita. We had his guardian on, Carlos Iglesias, with us a couple weeks ago, and learned his story, which is fascinating. Well, now you know him as the center of your team. What's he? What do you like?
He is a physical specimen. I know Keba very well. from playing against them. We played Utah at Stanford 5 times, and they were my scout. So I've watched probably outside of Burgess as much film on but it's probably anyone in the Provo area. So he's super athletic. He's really good when you get to going up and down. He's a rim runner. He beats guys down the floor. He is an elite level offensive rebounder. At one point last season, I was looking at some of our old scouts. He was averaging 3.1 offensive rebounds a game at one point in the season, and about 24 minutes a game at that time, which is huge. He's got the ability to be a lob threat. He sets good screens, sprints to the rim for pick and rolls, and he can also finish around the rim. But I think defensively, his ability as a shot blocker and rim protector are going to be huge. He's only listed at 6'7". He may be 6'7", 6'8", but he plays every bit of 6'11", 7 foot. And I know that firsthand from going against him game after game after game. So we're super excited about him.
He is his vertical jump. So I was at practice a couple of weeks ago and came down and Dallin threw an alley-oop to him, and it wasn't a great pass. It was kind of back behind and up about the level of the box. And KB just jumped up and grabbed it with his left hand and threw it down and ducked his head from hitting the backboard. And it was one of those, whoa, did you just see that moments? And I didn't realize he had that kind of vertical, that ability to get up off the ground. Is that why I know he's really physical too, but is that why he can play taller, because he can get up off the floor so much?
He's explosive, and he has a very, very quick jump and second jump. And I think that allows him, obviously his physicality, like you said, allows him to play against bigger guys. But I think that allows him to be a rim protector and be able to do things around the rim. And his athleticism can make up for a lot of mistakes.
What about Brody Kozlowski? He's near and dear to us. His mom works all kinds of basketball with us and has been our colleague throughout the years. A nice get, a former USC signee that decommitted, and then when the staff came in, he said BYU's the place. Tell us a little bit about Brody's game.
Brody, he's a heck of a player. He's gotten better every single day. Probably more than anyone, you can see his growth. And I think a lot of that is because obviously as a freshman, hadn't seen the level when he came in. But him from week one to now, completely different player. He's very, very physical. He takes on challenges, and he's a big-time shooter. I think his best years are ahead of him. I think he's going to compete hard this year. And have the ability to do some things for us. But I think his ability to shoot the ball and stretch the floor are going to prove very, very valuable for us. He's a guy that we recruited at Stanford, and we didn't. I pushed for him, so I'm happy to be here with him. We joke about that all the time. So.
Just another long guy that can shoot it. That's their theme today. A lot of long guys that can shoot it. Defend. So.
BYU assistant coach Brandon Dunson on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. I'm going to ask you about Dawson Baker, and then we're going to throw the returners all into one question.
Right.
And then we're going to hit you up with a couple others and get you on into your night. We sure appreciate your time. But we're going to put Dawson Baker on the newcomer list only because we saw so little of him last year. But we've seen him in practice. We've talked to him. His foot's better. He's going full speed. What does Dawson Baker bring to this group?
Yep. So Dawson's a guy I coached against when he was a freshman at UC Irvine. I was actually at Cal State Fullerton at the time. So I've seen a lot of him throughout the years as well. He's just now starting to get healthy. He's been going full speed for a while, but just got approved for some limited contact stuff and some live stuff. But I think he's different than a lot of the guys. He's got while he can shoot it, he's a 37% around their career 3-point shooter. So obviously he can shoot the ball. But I would say that's just a piece of what he does. He's very good in ball screens, at finding ways to just get a shot. He's a creative scorer, floaters, pull-ups, those type of things I think are going to be huge for him. He's got experience. He's done it at a really high level against some really good teams. I mean, he's a 2 or 3-time all-league guy. I know he was freshman of the year when I was in the Big West coaching against him. I know he was an all-league guy, one or two of those other years. So I think he's a guy that brings something different as a combo guard, which again, there's really 4 interchangeable positions with us, so we can use him in a lot of different ways.
Brian Dutcher's a good friend of ours for years, and we asked him about him because he had played against him, and he said, it's really weird. He goes, I'm not sure that he's like crazy quick, but he plays at so many different speeds and stops and starts, and then he just gets you really off balance and you can't stay in front of him. And I said, that's interesting. He goes, yeah, I can't explain it, but you can't stay in front of him.
I would agree with those sentiments 100%. And the one thing about him is because he's done it, he is confident. Like he gives off an aura of, all right, yeah, I'm going to produce. Yeah. Like you just know it. You feel confident with him on the floor.
I love it.
It's good stuff. All right, the returners, Dallin Hall, Richie Saunders, Trevor Nell, Fusini Traore, and Trey Stewart. Let's bunch them up into a question. I think you kind of hit on it earlier. Their value when added to this group of newcomers, what is it?
People don't realize that they're experienced one. They've all played in big games here in the Big 12. They're the only guys in our league that have played on our team that have played in big games in our league, and they've had success with it. They've been very, very instrumental in trying to help the new guys adjust to everything here, while they still have to adjust to a new coaching staff in a different practice setting and those type of things. But they've done everything they can to make everyone feel welcomed. And I can't say enough about this group, and they're going to be such huge pieces on and off the floor for us.
Has there been I don't know if this is the right word. I was going to say like a lead dog, but has there been one that's really stepped up that said, hey, everybody, follow me. This is what we're going to do. Anybody that stands out, or has this group done it as a group?
No, I think they've done it more collectively. There's a lot of guys. There's just a lot of guys that do it. And like, obviously Foose has been big with Kaba.
Yeah.
Being close and bringing him in. Trev, Trey, Dallin, Richie. I mean, they've all just been great with all the guys. J-Mac, I want to keep him in there too. And then
Jared McGregor, yeah.
Then Trip has the greatest energy that there is and brings it to practice every single day. He's currently out nursing an injury, but like he's a huge piece of what we've been doing. And I don't want to understate all these guys' importance, but I would say they've done it more collectively, but they've made it a priority to, again, while we're at this university, not just help themselves, but help others become their best selves.
BYU assistant basketball coach Brandon Dunson on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus has 150 distribution facilities across the country and provides jobs to some 6,000 people. All right, here comes the big question.
Yeah,
we wrestled whether or not we should ask it, but we're going to go ahead and ask it.
And we're going to put you on the spot. So this is a hypothetical.
Yep.
So the hypothetical is if Central Arkansas was tomorrow, who are you going to roll out as your starting five?
I think it's way too hard to say.
We knew you were going to say that.
We've had 5 or 6 guys here for 3 weeks. We've had 4, I think, guys here for 2 weeks, and then 1 or 2 here for a day. So it's just too hard to see. But I think there's tremendous opportunity to throw different lineups out there of versatility. Do you want to be more shooting? Do you want to be more length? Do you want to be more defensive minded? Do you want to be more creative minded? There's so many different opportunities with our guys that we can, different ways we can go, depending on our matchup, or even more importantly, making guys match up to us. So a lot of that stuff obviously will be sorted out on the court, but I definitely think we have so many guys capable of playing a big role.
A lot of folks will say you have too many guys, or some teams have too many guys.
There's no such thing.
And we don't believe there's any such thing as long as they're all good guys. But over the course of this non-conference schedule, could we see a different lineup every night as you just try to figure out what you want to have once Big 12 play starts?
Yeah, no, I think everyone will have an opportunity. I think at some point you've got to gain some consistency and some camaraderie within certain groups at certain times so guys know their roles. But throughout the rest of the summer, throughout the first 6 weeks, throughout the non-conference. That'll be up for them to decide of who fits well and minutes and all those type of things. And the big thing is I've never been in a program where every single player on that team hasn't gotten an opportunity. Between injuries, aren't playing well, stuff off the court is troubling guys or whatever it may be, you always have your opportunity. So the biggest thing is guys staying ready and whatever their role ends up becoming, doing it to the best of their ability, because I know it's cliche to say, but you're only as good as your bottom guy. Like that's as true as it gets. I've been on teams who didn't believe that, and they struggled because everyone matters and every role matters, whether it's scout team, whether it's your energy, your managers, your GAs, it all matters, every little piece, because things build up over time. So, I think everyone's going to get an opportunity, and that's up for the players to decide.
Well, it's a nice position to be in, because I can tell you a couple months ago we were all going, gosh, what are they going to do in terms of some size and who's going to play? We go from that to everybody going, do they have too many guys? There's like 11 guys that can play on this team. That's a much better problem, right? So we'll take it. You mentioned preseason. Who on the staff's kind of taking the lead and trying to get the schedule put together? And we recognize that the league schedule just gets sent to you guys, but it's the non-conference schedule that you guys have to piece together. Do you have an idea when that non-conference slate's going to be announced, and who's been working on that?
Hopefully here soon. I know all the contracts aren't done, so I actually don't know which ones are and which ones aren't, so can't really speak on specifics of it, but there's only 1 or 2 games left to get. I know Coach Burgess and then Doug Stewart and myself, we've all kind of been working on it. Burgess has taken a big brunt of it. So I'm assuming it's going to be announced here sooner than later once contracts all get done, but there's only 1 or 2 left in limbo, really. So hopefully that's here in the next month or so.
Great
stuff tonight. Let's roll out with 5 quick questions for BYU assistant coach Brandon Dunson. We've learned a lot about a lot of things people are really, really interested in. Now they're going to find out 5 things that they did not know.
Right. And
about you.
We just fire 5 questions at you, and you answer the first thing that hits your mind. Okay?
Yep.
We're going to start with this. Your favorite sports movie?
My favorite sports movie, Glory Road.
That, you know what? That's been named a few times, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Hoosiers is real popular. Remember the Titans.
Yep.
But Kevin Gilbride's in the green room. We don't want him here because we don't want him getting.
You're getting these too. So,
your favorite singer or band?
My favorite singer. That's a tough one. I like a lot of different types of music. I would probably say Jagged Edge, old R&B group.
There you go. We haven't had that yet.
Nope, that's a new one.
We had our first Taylor Swift a couple of weeks ago. And that was okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
So, favorite breakfast cereal?
My favorite breakfast cereal. I don't really eat breakfast a ton, but I will tell you that a lot of people close to me say I have an addiction to pretzels. So
Pretzels.
Not breakfast, but I'll eat pretzels any day of the week.
Wait, Brandon, so wait a minute. Are you not eating breakfast at all? Or are you just not eating breakfast cereal?
I'm not eating breakfast food a ton.
Oh, so it's because who do we have? Kyle Van Noy was on the show. I don't know if you know Kyle. He was 10 years in the National Football League with the Patriots. And who's Kyle with now? I don't even know who's with
Ravens.
Ravens. But anyhow, we said, what favorite breakfast cereal? He goes, we just eat protein shakes at our house. We give our kids protein shakes. Like he gives his 2-year-old a protein shake. I'm like, come on.
A lot of the time that will be my breakfast or a protein shake.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Danny H comes in here and says, shredded wheat.
Yeah.
We go, shredded wheat. Like, at least tell us you do the frosted, like, shredded wheat. Like, you can't eat those bales of hay for breakfast. He goes, no, that's what Michelle makes me eat ever since my heart problems.
Yeah,
so,
shredded wheat.
So we'll go with protein shakes and pretzels.
We've had pretzels in 2.5 years.
Protein shakes or
nice
pretzels
job,
are a
Coach.
good option. So, okay, your favorite basketball moment of all time?
My favorite basketball moment. My freshman year of college. I was playing at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. That's where I went my freshman year. Right before Christmas, I got to play against my brother. It's the first time that we had shared a court, really, because we didn't play together in high school. We actually went to different high schools, even though we were in the same household. It was a different deal. But just getting to play against him and family being there and literally we're guarding each other, and we were 20 minutes from our house. So it was that was fun.
Did you beat him?
Who won that one?
They ended up winning.
But in head-to-head, did you hold your own head-to-head against him?
Yeah, I held my own. He's 2 years. He's 2.5 years older than me, and at the time he was much stronger than me. So he beat up on me as a kid all the time, and then eventually let me win a little bit. And I don't know if I ever truly beat him.
So right now, if we put the two of you out there and we have 3-point shooting contest, who's going to win that?
I think that's going to be a tough one. Either way, I don't know which way that would go, to be honest with you.
There you go. We have the Haws in here. TJ has the all-time leading scorer in BYU history. Or Tyler and his brother TJ was a phenomenal player. We bring them in and let them argue once in a while about who's better at what. So
has he converted to becoming a BYU fan?
He is going to be. So he's actually the associate head women's coach at Edwardsville.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Evansville.
Yeah.
Evansville.
Oh, very good.
He's definitely following. He's hit me up for gear a few times.
Good.
Were your folks basketball folks? Like both of you play, both of you in coaching? Did your folks? Do you have a heritage in basketball?
So my dad played basketball throughout high school and college, and had a couple short stints in the pros. Some mini camp teams with the Washington Bullets, a couple others. My mom wasn't. She was a track runner in high school, but didn't do sports in college. But my dad actually was our youth coach, AAU coach, and he's kind of like the dad to everyone in the community that he grew up in. So he runs a recreational center there. So we've been around the game our entire life.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
All right,
okay,
last one.
What's your favorite thing about this new coaching staff that you're part of?
Diversity. And just in all the places we've been, we've got people who've been in the Olympics. We've got people who've been in EuroLeague, Overtime Elite, college level, at the D2 level, the Power 5 level, the NBA, the G League. I think that's one piece of it. And two, just the character of everyone. There's a lot of times where you get on different staffs and not everyone's on the same page. Like everyone always has their individual goals, but there are staffs you can get on and that trumps the team goal, and that never works. It's just so much humility. Again, one of the reasons I came here was because of Coach Young's humility. And I think everyone that has been hired, and honestly, everyone that's been retained and recruited, has a similar humility and just the goal of helping people be the best they can be. And then when you do that, things tend to work out. So I would say that's the best thing so far. And I'm sure there are a lot more great things to come.
We look forward to it. Brandon Dunson, thank you so much for being here on the Wise Guys tonight and giving us some insights that no one else has. We look forward to seeing you over at practice, and Blaine and I get to call your games.
Yeah, we don't know how many we'll have. I don't know. Maybe 10 or 11 games this year of yours. So we're excited to cover this team. So
nice. Well, I definitely appreciate you all taking the time.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you, Coach. So that's Brandon Dunson breaking down the lineup.
Yeah, great stuff.
And I'll tell you what, that is just candy to Cougar Nation right now.
When this guy's 6'8", the thing about him is he can really shoot it. And this guy's 6'10", he's a great defender, but he can really shoot it. And I'm like, wow, they got a bunch of long guys that can really shoot it. So.